Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Lynn and I decided to go camping one day, and it was at Mill Creek Campground in Berlin Lake. And we woke up the next morning, decided to make breakfast and everything, and I had received one of the best calls that I had received in probably about 8 months. So what this means was the engine was back. So we kind of cut it short there, went to Summit Racing real quick to pick up some paint that I needed for the block, and went up to CJ Rombold and picked up my engine. Now everyone was really excited to get this back. Even Leanne was looking at it and curious, just because it's been so long between the whole process of skip weight and then the machine shop being backed up. So they assembled the whole short block for me. I just decided, hey, why not, let's just do this, as mentioned in the previous video. So I got the whole engine back, pretty much assembled, ready to go. Pulled it off the truck and then cleaned it up a little bit and decided to put the heads on. Now I'm making sure to spray out everything on the heads with some acetone as well as some compressed air. This just ensures that I get all the debris out from the manufacturing process. And it actually did have a little bit of aluminum flakes come off there just because it wasn't fully knocked off during the machining. So definitely make sure you clean your heads really well. I did it about 3 different times on each head. Now for those that are curious, I'm using the grease that came with the ARP head bolts. Now I'm putting a thin layer underneath the head of the bolt, and for the threads, since they do go through some of the ports that have the coolant in them, I sealed every single one of these on the threads with aviation former gasket sealant liquid. And it comes in a white bottle, kind of like almost Indian head shellac consistency. And that just seals everything, and I think this provides, in my opinion, yields the proper torque as well. And of course, 3 different stages, torque down the head bolts up to, I want to say it was 70 foot-pounds. Don't quote me on that though, I kind of forget, it might have been 75. Now while everything's set up on the head bolts, I decided to then tackle a couple other things that are going to be coming up when I drop the engine in the actual chassis. So I'm going to attempt to strip this fan shroud cover. It had some paint for some reason. Someone repainted this at one point. Underneath looks pretty good, so I think I could bring it back to life as long as I'm careful removing the paint. I really just have to focus on this top area because that's what you see, but I am going to try to go down all around and try to get every last bit that I can off. So what I'm going to be using, I used this in the past, it's called Citrus Strip, and it doesn't actually smell or anything. It just smells kind of slight orangey, hence the name. But this is what I use on the Vets to strip the paint off into the bare fiberglass. It's really safe. It just takes a lot longer to do, and you just pile it on here. You have to keep everything saturated really well, and then it'll start to bubble off in probably an hour or so. It works better when it's warmer, so if it's cooler out, it probably won't actually really work too well at all. You have to do it on a warmer day. And it's starting to rain, of course, so I have to bring it in the garage. But it rinses off with water really nice, so when you're done actually using it, you can just hose it off, and then the paint should come along with it. Now this depends on the paint, but as you can see, this paint, whatever they use, is pretty weak. And it's already starting to bubble up. That's good news. It won't be taking me as long as I thought I was going to be spending time on this. I figured this would take me at least 2 hours, but probably down to an hour, maybe a little bit less now if it keeps working its way in there. You can see it's bubbling up real nice in there. And when it looks like this, you got to add a little bit more. So it's absorbing some of the citrus strip. So resaturate it down, and that way it'll work really well. And then after this, hopefully I could just wash it up real good, and then the normal plastic underneath will be nice, and I can just put it back on. It's a very expensive piece here, a couple $100 just for this, even if you can even find it. These, for some reason, they're really hard to come by. I can find the AC version of this one, but I can't find the non-AC Z28 version of this. So definitely have to keep this around and make this one look better, let alone for the price. So new update, for whatever reason, this was primed first. So I don't know, someone put a lot of work into doing this. I don't know why they painted it, because if you look under right here, scrape it, and the primer's coming off. So that's the original plastic right there. It's just black, white primer, and plastic. So hopefully it keeps coming off like this, but a lot of paint on there for some reason. I don't know why they did it for, unless it was just looking dull, who knows. But keep going on this, and then I'll power wash it once the rain stops out here. See what comes off of it after I power wash it, and then put some more citrus strip on final time, hopefully, to get in all the crevices I may have missed, and then power wash it final time, and then just clean it up with some interior cleaner. Now, after hosing this off and letting it dry a while, it actually did come back pretty nice. There were only a couple minor scrapes, and that was the part that's going to be hidden, where the fan's going to be spinning at the bottom of the fan shroud, as you can see a little bit right here. But overall, I'm not too sure why they painted it. Block's all ready to be painted now. I used acetone to wipe down everything with a red scuff pad. Made sure I cleaned it about 3 different times, blew everything off, made sure I scuffed the oil pan, and taped everything off that I do not want to be painted over. So the whole short block is already assembled, so that's why I'm not taking it apart. Everything's sealed correctly. I decided to put on the heads, just because I know where I have to paint around now. Everything is taped off right now, so I'll get under everything fine. Everything is taped off good, and I'll be able to get in on the engine block where I might have missed if I just taped straight across this without the head being on. So what I'm going to be using is SPI's Epoxy Primer. I'm going to be putting on 2 light to medium coats of that, letting that flash off a couple days, and then be hitting it with a acrylic urethane single stage paint from Summit Racing, and it's going to be Chevy orange. So everything that is exposed right now is going to be the stock Chevy orange. On top, the heads will still be aluminum, the intake will still be aluminum, and then all the external accessories will either be orange or black, as the factory was.